Good morning, good afternoon, May 16th. This is a special meeting of the Griggs County Commission, 1 p.m. If you would, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Avriel.
He's absent.
Tranby.
Here.
Zorn.
Okay.
Possibly. Edlund.
Here.
Wakefield's present. So, approval of the agenda. The agenda is very short and to the point. We're going to talk about the sheriff's office.
So move.
Motion by Edlund, second by Tranby to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda approved. So, we're here to talk about the sheriff's office. So as you understand, before we had the sheriff resign, and the deputy was left without a home, basically, so he resigned also. We've been in contact, the state's attorney has been in contact with the surrounding counties, the highway patrol, and upon further consulting, we need to put an interim sheriff in place in order to have a point of contact for the other offices. So Seal County, Nelson County, they can't move forward. They can't assume the position of sheriff. We need a sheriff. Highway Patrol also, as in the last meeting, the Highway Patrol alluded to the fact that they've done this before, but they need a point of contact. So, going through the Century Code, it's obvious, as Samantha pointed out, that the coroner arises to some of the duties of the sheriff in the absence of a sheriff, and we've been in contact with the coroner, and the coroner has agreed to be appointed sheriff in the interim. He will then become the point of contact and will direct the other counties as to what's needed, and with consulting with, of course, our state's attorney, and as we keep going forward to try to find a deputy and a full-time sheriff. Could be a process. I don't think we want to get into the same rut we've been in a while. We haven't had real good luck with appointing sheriffs and keeping them around. I think this is the fourth one now that's been appointed and has resigned. So with that, let's move on to some questions of the commission, and I'm sure you've all had people ask you what's going on. What are the concerns here?
Hi, Rod. Can I put you on
John,
secret?
can I speak quickly? Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on 2 seconds.
Rod is on.
Okay.
So we have Rod Zorn, Commissioner Zorn entering the meeting. Yeah, State's Attorney Tennyson, yeah, please.
Thank you, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. I've been working quite a bit in the last few days to try to figure out what to do and what we can do. I've been in communication with some sheriff's offices that may be willing to help us out. I guess there's some concern in the community if lawlessness is going to start at 6:01 p.m. tonight. I don't see that happening, but I think that the important thing and an appropriate thing to do is to get a sheriff appointed and to start working in the right direction and get a full permanent sheriff appointed. I know that Commissioner Wakefield has been in contact with Rick Cushman, who has been is willing to be appointed, at least on an interim basis, temporarily, until we can find someone to fill a position. I have some contacts in law enforcement that I have been speaking with to see if they're interested in reaching out to other law enforcement officers that would be interested in the position, and that's ongoing. I guess I would ask that everyone promote and look for someone to fill a position in Griggs County. I also have been in contact with neighboring counties, and I think that there's some willingness to work and assist the county, knowing the situation that we're in. But first we need to get a sheriff appointed, and that sheriff can work with those other law enforcement agencies. I guess that's what I have for now. This is a big deal for the county, I guess, and we'll continue to work hard to work through it.
Okay. Thank you. Now, questions.
Court recorder had questions that she was asking me the other day as far as like court and court and covering deputies for court.
Right, and I think, you know, maybe that'll work itself out a little bit here once Rick is appointed and starts reaching out, and I can have some conversations with Rick too about
Okay.
some of that. We do have a fairly large master calendar coming up here in 2 weeks, so, but yeah, I think once this part's over, then if you start making some contacts and, you know, I know some individuals that have come and helped too, and I did talk to Captain Neiman, and he said if requested, they would help too. I think we asked that.
Who was that?
Captain Neiman.
Highway
Yeah.
patrol.
Talked to him during the meeting, and I talked to him a little bit after the meeting that day as well, so.
So,
um,
okay, so that brings me to the point that all elected and public officials of Griggs County needs to pitch in here. We were put in this position by two of the elected officials breaking the public trust and leaving. That was what caused this. They weren't thrown out, they weren't forced out, they left. So obviously, a brand new sheriff can't come in and solve all these problems. He needs to be there as a conduit in order and work with everybody else within the system, because obviously you know more about it than the sheriff does. The state's attorney helps out. Everybody needs to help out in order to move this forward to a point where we can either have an election and have someone put into place by the people, or another interim person in order to get it to the point of election. But ultimately, the people are going to decide this. And we don't have the right of public conscription. We can't walk out the street and say, we need a sheriff, you're it.
Right.
There's no way to do that. So we need to work through this. We need to make sure that public safety is maintained. And the way to do that is to, especially with the system we have in place, the communication system, is to ally with our surrounding counties and the highway patrol.
If we find somebody that is interested, or if, you know, if somebody is interested, do they go to Sam and apply, and then Sam will then send that? Send it. What's the process?
It is being advertised on the Facebook page on NDACO, and then it will be in the paper for 2 weeks starting tomorrow's issue. And yeah, it does say in there to fill out an application and send it to me.
Okay.
Right. And Rick's been good enough to step up, and he's done this once before.
Yep.
I believe way back when Vernon Fugelsted was in transition going out of office. I believe Rick was a sheriff for 2 weeks, 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah. So this isn't something that's completely new, but it is certainly unusual.
Is the ad, does it have an end date, or is it until it's filled?
Let me look at
There
that.
is no end date in the ad. I drafted it that way. There is no end date in the ad. I didn't see an end in the future, so we'll just leave it open until we find someone suitable.
Right. And if Rick is willing, he'll be appointed until that time.
So, Rick, are you gonna, so you'll be doing the scheduling that for law enforcement, is that what you're part of it, you know, with the other counties and stuff helping out, or?
Yeah.
You'd be coordinating
Yeah.
for shift work and stuff?
I'm pretty good friends with boys over in Steele County.
Okay.
We work together a lot.
Okay, so you figure out the shifts to cover stuff, okay.
The biggest.
I've spoken with Sheriff Beckman. I think he's on here, so I don't want to speak for him, but I think he's willing to work with Rick, and I want to just show my appreciation to Sheriff Beckman too, because he's willing to do to help us out. So I think that everybody in the surrounding law enforcement community around us, they deserve some appreciation from us too for being willing to help.
I agree, and of course, we don't expect this to be done free of charge. We'll have to the auditor will have to get with the sheriff's department over there, and we'll have to set up a billing system of some sort. That's not what we're here for today. That's a given. That'll happen. The sheriff that'll be appointed will take over the duties, but also the salary and the benefits of the sheriff's position. So moving forward, we'll treat, we assume Rick's gonna accept this, we'll treat Mr. Cushman as the interim sheriff, and that's where we'll be after this, if this goes through. And from there, we just keep trying to improve the position, keeping in mind that ultimately the public is gonna have the say in this. When that is a ways away, but that's ultimately what's gonna happen.
One thing I would like to mention is that I did talk to Sheriff Beckman, and he had spoken with the post board. There's some things that Rick will have to take care of with the post board, so that's actually one of my suggestions for the first order of business. I would get in touch with the post board, and I can find out who to do that with and communicate that to Rick. But I think that's one of our first steps.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Sheriff Beckman, may I address the meeting?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so one thing you have to remember is that once Rick is appointed sheriff, until he goes through the background, until he goes through the shooting part of it, taking the deadly force, which is probably going to take up to 2 months, and that's if it's going good. After that, he would whoever it may be later on even, then you have to apply for a limited license, and he has to go to the first thing you'd have to go to is the first available civil training that we have, and we have it twice a year, and they would have to go to the first available law enforcement academy, if not certified. These are only if the people are not certified already. And in that, he will have no powers until he has a limited license to arrest anybody. And also, once he gets it, this person will get a limited license, you have to work for somebody with a license. So somebody would still have to be over him and have to be available in person most of the time, but it would work over the phone depending. So I just wanted to clarify with that Rick has no authority to I get where you're at, so I mean, I understand that. But just so everybody knows that Rick can't go and decide he's gonna arrest somebody tomorrow, so you know that anyway.
No, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, we were aware of that, and of course, we were kind of in a position with Sheriff Hook for a while there too.
Yeah.
That he wasn't.
Correct.
So we went through that for quite some time.
Yes.
So, but we do appreciate the fact that you're willing to step up and help us out in whatever capacity that may be, and we'll keep working. This isn't the end of it, of course. We'll keep working forward.
No.
Depending on what Rick's wishes are, and depending upon who we have that might want to step up to this, we'll keep working forward to try to put this back into a position where it turns out that it's somebody that can be elected and somebody that's going to be here long term.
Yes, please remember that the sheriff is the only elected person that's in the Constitution. They must be elected. So I understand sometimes you can't do it, but according to the Constitution, which I fought very hard back in the 90s, when I first became sheriff, to get the sheriff in the Constitution, and so they always have to be elected. So just remind me of that when it comes on to it.
Yeah, there's over the years there's been some workarounds trying to appoint sheriffs to the full term left on the position, and we have always been of the position as a commission that we appoint until the earliest possible
Correct.
Election.
Correct.
Yeah. Anything else, Sheriff Beckman? What are your? I mean, we're flying blind here, so we're going to have to rely on somebody that has far more expertise than we do. Any other suggestions on what we should do?
If you believe in God, I'd pray, because I don't know what you're going to do. It is so hard to find people right now that don't want to do anything in law enforcement. It's not going to be easy. I know it's not going to be easy. I understand what you're doing. It's not going to be easy. So we get our busy season now, and we'll be quite busy ourselves for the next few months. So But we'll talk about that later and when we can maybe, when Rick has time, we'll talk about maybe when we can cover a shift or two, but it's not gonna be a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
We lost our part-time guys. We go with Trail County with a lot of part-time guys, and they're still down 2 guys. So without my part-time help, I can't give a lot either, but I'm not gonna leave you guys blind. You know, you can always call us for emergencies. That's who I am. I've always been. You guys know, some of you guys know me well, and you know that I'll be there to help.
Very good. And we'll try to have alliances with the surrounding sheriff's departments also, so that it limits the amount of territory each one has to cover.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long, I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but I think it's gonna be a long road for you guys, I think, for the next couple months at least, but hopefully not.
Well, we can only go as at a pace
One day at a time.
that's allowed, yeah, and we'll see how it all works out.
One day at a time, guy.
Again, we certainly appreciate the help, and Rick has a working relationship with you, I understand, so that should make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, you're correct, so.
Very good.
Okay, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, is Tyler done or is it June 1st then? He was
Done.
Today. Tyler was done today too? And Mike?
Yep, as of 6 o'clock. As of 6 o'clock.
Had a reporter that stopped the other day and then he told me that it was June 1st was up, so, which was news to me, so.
I think that's kind of been in flux, the way it sounds.
That's 6 o'clock AM or 6 o'clock PM?
Tonight.
Tonight, 6 o'clock PM.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion to appoint Rick Cushman as the sheriff, or was it interim sheriff?
Sheriff,
As sheriff,
effective.
effective 6:01 p.m.
Thank you. We have a motion by Edlin to appoint Rick Cushman as the interim sheriff, the appointed sheriff. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Tranby. Any further discussion on that topic? Barring no further discussion, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor of appointing Rick Cushman as the sheriff of Griggs County, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Sheriff Cushman.
Thank you.
42 years since I've been called that.
Well, if I could make a suggestion, I would hope we can call you that for the next 8 years. So I guess you'll just get with all the rest of the people in the courthouse and see how, if they can bring you up to speed and what they can do for you. Kelly, you're probably to be the main point of contact there.
I think also probably need to talk to Travis and get him on email,
Yep,
get keys, get all of the things. Get
Yep.
them out of
Do you
there.
need a radio?
I would think I think Travis would be the person to talk to about all
Let's
of
get a
that.
radio.
Car, you're
yep.
gonna need it all.
And I think we need to administer the oath of office.
Yeah, we do.
That's right, yeah.
That's what we're coming to that. I assume you have that.
I know.
Jamie,
But yes, I do. I do.
Jamie State Radio emailed me and said
Do you
we
have it,
need to have a contact, which will be Rick. We need a written.
What was that, Wayne?
State Radio emailed me, they said they heard that Deputy Rispa would be done as of 1800 today, and they need to have a written plan of action on who they need to call for law enforcement in Griggs County today.
Okay, I'll have you get, I'll just, I guess,
That
get
goes
with
to-
Rick and talk through that.
I can forward this email on, it's from Stacy Palm from the North Dakota State Radio.
Okay,
No relationship to it. Okay, I'll forward that to you and then to get Rick's number.
My own number is 4330.
So, are you going to be in touch with the Highway Patrol?
I can, I think we can have a conversation and try to, someone's gonna have to, that was actually my concern, I expressed that to the deputies earlier today, that state radio needs to know
Yep.
that if they dispatch.
So can you sit down with Rick and kind of give him an in brief on what we need to do here?
Yeah.
Keeping in mind that most of it's gonna have to fall on the system rather than, somebody brand new is not gonna know what to do here.
Absolutely, yeah, I can help as much as I can.
So Rick can contact me anytime this afternoon, and I can talk him through a few things. I did email Captain Ewan last night. He had called me right before the meeting, and I wasn't able to take the call. I was on another call, so I'll also speak with Captain Ewan about what's going on, and get some contact information as well.
No program.
I sent you Jamie's contact information. So do you need to administer that?
I think he can just stand up and say it, and then I can go ahead and notarize it for you.
The street box on here?
Yep.
Yeah. I, Rick Cushman of Cooperstown, North Dakota, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of appointed sheriff, according to the best of my ability, to help me God under pains and penalties of perjury.
With that, you are the sheriff of Griggs County.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you. And the citizens of Griggs County, thank you. So what else do we have to talk about here now, guys?
Everything else.
As far as from my end, I think that should be it. If Rick has any questions, feel free to give me a call, and we can talk through a few things, I guess, if he needs any help.
Okay.
Be more than willing to help.
All right. Looks like it's time for a Tranby.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Tranby to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. 1:24 p.m. Next meeting, this chambers, May 20th at 9:30 a.m. Thank you all.